Blackoff,
Here.
Member DeCiani,
Here.
and Member Rutledge.
Yes.
All right, wonderful. Just for Chairwoman's remarks, I want to thank everyone again for your support of the hand raise for DCBB. I want everyone in this room to feel good that we are working closely with finance to put together a very robust program similar to what Choose DuPage did. Obviously, it'll be slightly different because it's targeting our hospitality industry, but they have been really hard hit during this pandemic. And so it's critically important that we support them. But I also want all of our members on the board to feel comfortable that we have good oversight, just like we did before. So that requires a little more time. So we're working on it behind the scenes, but I just wanted to give everyone an update on that. So let's see, do we have any public comment today?
We do not.
All right, wonderful.
Did we
So,
approve minutes? We did.
oh, did I skip? Oh, no, I always want to skip that. All right, may I get a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting on February 15th?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so they are approved. All right, now we can move on to our incumbent worker training memos. We have two today. One is the incumbent worker training memo for Koala Insulation, and the other is for HYDAC. Can I get a motion to review and place on file?
Second.
All right, any questions or comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion passes. All right, we've got a couple resolutions today. The first is resolution FIR 014222, a resolution for the issuance of payments by DuPage County to training providers through the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, WIOA National Dislocated Worker Career Grant, intergovernmental agreement in the amount of $192,752. Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Next one is FIR 014322, a resolution for the acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, WIOA, National Dislocated Worker Intergovernmental Agreement number 21671,006 for Accounting Unit 2840 in the amount of $407,365. Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. And lastly, may I get a motion for FIR 014422, a resolution for acceptance and appropriation of additional funding and extension of time for the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, WIOA, Work Disaster Relief Grant for the Intergovernmental Agreement number 20671,006, Accounting Unit 2840 in the amount of $104,152. Second. All right, is there any, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. We have one procurement requisition today, so may I get a motion for EDCO 000922, recommendation for the approval of amendment to purchase 28190001 for contract issues to AT&T, purchase of telecommunications services for the Workforce Development Division. This is to extend the contract end date to March 31st, 2023 and increase the contract amount of $3,000, resulting in a contract total amount of $35,000, an increase of 9.38%.
Motion.
Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that requisition passes. All right, today's presentation, we have the very esteemed Greg Bedela.
Oh, wow.
From Choose DuPage to give us their year in review update.
Don't worry, Lisa will talk to I'm sorry, it's the president to disappoint you. Lisa's here. We just determined the transition plan for Choose DuPage. We operate kind of a quarter in arrears because of state reporting and whatnot from sales tax and project reporting. So this is a perfect time, with it being the end of Q1 in 2022, to give you an update on what we did in 2021 and what we're kind of looking forward to in 2022. So we have a very brief presentation. So if you could advance to the next slide, please. I'll take you through the presentation. Happy to answer any questions along the way. Next slide, please. You all know what we are and what we do. We're kind of the collective voice of the business community here in DuPage. Our job at the end of the day is to promote DuPage County as a premier global business location. Business attraction and retention is the lion's share of our activities. Next slide, please. So again, grow, retain, and attract business. We're here to support all of the initiatives that you all implement. We touched briefly about the Reinvest DuPage program. CARES Act and ARPA. It was our pleasure to do that for the county board in 2021. I didn't put that in the presentation because quite frankly, I'm kind of tired of talking about it, and I'm sure you all are kind of tired of talking about it, but over $36 million worth of grants from ARPA and CARES that went out into the small business community. Next slide, please. So we keep a scorecard. How did we do in 2021? How did DuPage County do in 2021? So next slide, please. We're really proud of the fact that we don't measure things or we report on things that are either $1 million investment or more. Now, clearly there's a lot of investment in DuPage that is less than $1 million. Countless number of investments, 1 and 2 job opportunities, entrepreneurs starting new businesses. That kind of stuff, to be blunt, is impossible to record effectively. So we keep track of projects that have $1 million or more in investment, a net square footage gain of 20,000 square feet, 20 or more full-time jobs, headquarter facilities. We all love to see new headquarters come into DuPage County, and a significant Choose DuPage involvement. What does that mean? That means it either came through our office, we worked with workforce, we worked with the county, we worked with procurement departments, we worked with municipalities to kind of get the deal across the finish line. Next slide, please. So in 2021, we had 144 projects, which we think in the age of COVID compared to 2020 was pretty fantastic. And most notably, it's up over 2019 where we saw 125 projects. So again, I've said this a million times and I'll continue to say it. We have a resilient economy in DuPage. Our swimming pool is an inch deep and a mile wide. We're not tied to any one industry, and that helps us during economic downturns or challenging economic times. By our measurement, it's 735 jobs that were created or retained. Now, how do we come up with that number? Well, the first way we come up with it is if there's an incentive involved from the state of Illinois or a municipality, they have to report those jobs. So a lot of these get done without incentives. So that's with less than 10% of the companies reported. It totals just short of 10 million square feet of development and $82 million invested in these projects. This last dot point is, in my opinion, the most important dot point on this slide. Over 80% of these projects were industrial, warehousing, and distribution. That's the good news, because we are uniquely positioned in DuPage, as you know, because of our robust transportation network, our proximity to O'Hare, and our workforce, and kind of the cost of doing business in DuPage. We're ideally located for industrial, warehousing, and distribution. The bad news is that I can't think of a single project, maybe 1 or 2 of those 144 that were office. And DuPage kind of grew up, as we all know, in the 80s as an office corridor. The I-88 corridor, the 355 corridor. Choose DuPage recently moved its offices because Lisa threw us out of our old offices. And we're not joking, of course. Lisa's doing such a great job that her office is expanding, and we were happy to make room for her expansion. We moved into an office building in Downers Grove that is currently 70% leased, but 20% occupied. So once those leases expire, those tenants are going to look to get out of those leases. So I'm not here to be gloom and doom, but Lisa and I every day deal with warehousing, distribution, and industrial plays. And I talked to a developer last week who owns a significant amount of property in District 4. Sorry, Grant.
Okay.
Who is interested in tearing down existing office space to put up warehousing space. So that's just a little kind of forebearer of things to come. We are transitioning into an industrial warehousing and distribution space in DuPage. Now, I don't think that this developer is going to wind up tearing down his office building, because quite frankly, I don't think the village where he's located is going to allow him to. But as opportunities unfold, we're trying to do a deal right now in Downers Grove where there's space left in an office park where the developer wants to put multifamily residential, simply because you need to have people living near office, near restaurants, et cetera, et cetera. It's not zoned that way. I guess the summary message is there's going to come a time when we're going to have to embrace a little more flexibility in our zoning if we want to continue to see development, or because in this particular case, the area is zoned ORM, office, research, and manufacturing. So next to office buildings, if this developer wanted to, he could put an Amazon distribution facility. or multifamily residential, because office is just not going to happen. Next slide, please. So just some particular highlights, some businesses that comprise that 144. Strata Cache, they're right across the parking lot from Lisa's current office, our old office in Lisle. Clyde's Donuts up in Glendale Heights, nice little industrial distribution facility. Shore Packaging. This was a good deal that we were really involved in out in West Chicago, where they're putting a co-packing facility in, and BDO Digital in Oak Brook.
Slides moving at Addison or keeping Addison?
There's keeping Addison and expanding.
Cool.
Next slide, please. Next slide, please. In 2021, we formulated a strategic plan. In light of everything that's happening that I just talked about with office versus industrial, if you don't have a plan on how we're going to move forward, we're worried that we could get left behind. So if you'll advance to the next slide, please. I won't read all of the items included in the strategic plan. Slide, please. But it's a 12, most good strategic plans, as you know, have 10 goals. You have to have a 10-point plan, right? Well, we decided let's make ours even better and put 12 goals, an even dozen worth of goals in there. I want to highlight 3 of these goals in particular. Sustainable growth, which I'm going to touch on in a little bit. That's number 12. Commercial collaboration, which I'm going to touch on in a little bit. And regional economic cooperation, which I'm going to touch on in a little bit. The rest of them are stuff that we're already working on. It's really important. Western access to O'Hare, we're getting involved with that again. Foreign direct investment, which kind of ties into regional economic collaboration and cooperation. Next slide, please. So Connect DuPage, we came up with a nice little buzz term for the next slide, please, which is an initiative that the lovely and talented Lisa is working on and spearheading. This was really born out of a deal that we did with Greenleaf Foods. Greenleaf Foods is North America's largest purveyor of plant-based food products. Think Beyond Burger, Impossible Meats, all that kind of stuff. They had a small location in Elmhurst, and we're looking to expand that location and center their North American headquarters, as well as their test kitchens, because you got to test these burgers before you serve them to the public. And we were successful in recruiting them to Lisle, Illinois. And we met with them and we talked about incentives. And they said, you know what incentive you can get us? You can connect us with the DuPage County Jail. You can connect us with the local school districts. You can connect us with the DuPage County cafeteria, because I guarantee you that there is no plant-based food product choices in those locations. And this is a healthy alternative to traditional meat-based burgers. So out of that, we put a group together, and Lisa took on the initiative of what can we do to do more commercial collaboration for our businesses with government and with other businesses in DuPage to ensure the success of those businesses. Next slide, please. So again, we're trying to promote commercial collaboration, address some of the current supply chain challenges. You know, we hear about logistics and supply chain issues all over the planet. Well, if there's a robust supply chain in DuPage County or Cook County or Will County, maybe that could alleviate some of that. And at the same time, it's a passion of all of ours, we wanted to use this program to raise the awareness for DBE businesses, women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, and that connects into the supplier diversity and the ad hoc committee that's meeting later today. Next slide, please. So supply chain resource database, that is being, and feel free to jump in if I go straight here, Lisa. Sure. That is being completed as we speak in an effort to put this database together so that we can provide, using the Greenleaf example, so that we can provide Greenleaf not only examples of how they can sell their product and to whom they can sell their product, but if they need materials for their product or they need equipment for the building, how that can happen within DuPage County or certainly within the region.
Great. I was just going to add with that too. We've had a lot of interest from larger businesses, some of the hospitals who really want that commercial collaboration and investing locally. So we think this, once we get this up and running, it's going to be a great resource for any business, literally in DuPage County.
Corporate social responsibility programs, as you all know, are really big right now amongst bigger businesses throughout DuPage County. Sustainability programs are really big right now throughout DuPage County. So this dovetails nicely. This is an initiative that we brought to our board of directors, and we've never had the kind of response that we got from our board. Every one of our board members said, how can I help? The banks want to get involved, the manufacturers want to get involved. Next slide, please. And again, this is just more about how we're going to try to work with the DBE community at the same time. I think I've spoken to this committee about that previously. There's over 1,200 DBE businesses in DuPage County, but less than 10% of them are actually certified as a DBE. So if you're a woman-owned business, if you're a veteran-owned business, if you're a minority-owned business, that's fantastic. But that doesn't give you any purchasing advantage with units of government or anybody else unless you're a certified woman-owned business. And what we find, and I saw this from the previous position I had, it's very difficult to take that leap and become a certified woman-owned business. There's time involved, there's money involved. There's so many resources throughout DuPage County and throughout Illinois that can help those businesses make that leap, which gives them a distinct advantage when they're bidding on contracts, but they have to be able to take that leap. You need banking, you need finance, you need legal, and the Choose DuPage board again has stepped up to kind of be part of a team that will help do this for these businesses. Next slide, please. Marketing strategy is a big component of it as well. You know, it doesn't do any good to put a program in place if the business community doesn't know about it. As Lisa pointed out, the business community is already intimately aware of this initiative and helping us bring it to reality. Next slide, please. Sustainability. You know what? I'm tired of talking. You do sustainability.
Sure.
They want to hear from you anyway.
Thank you.
So, Sustainable DuPage, this is another initiative that came out of our strategic plan based on the survey that we sent to all of you and a lot of our businesses. They wanted to see more sustainability rolled into our economic development platform here in DuPage. So I reached out to Joy and Joy Hins and her team over there, and we decided to launch a program series and a resource toolkit for our businesses in DuPage County. So next slide. Again, just to give you a little bit of background on this. So I said we were going to be launching the business resource toolkit. This is one of the things that we did for the during COVID is this COVID resource toolkit. So we were able to draw a lot of businesses to our website and connect them to all of the resources that existed within the state. This is the same concept that we're going to be doing with the sustainability resource toolkit. And it's going to be housed on the county's website. I think it's already on the county's website. We will then mirror that resource toolkit on the Choose DuPage website. So Joy and her team will be updating it, and then we will mirror it on our website. In addition, we are going to be hosting a program series. We picked the month of April because it's Earth Day and Earth Month, and our kickoff event is going to be on April 7th. The importance of sustainability in business is the topic for this. We have a great lineup of speakers. We hope you will all attend. We have Chris Burke, a couple of the large companies, including Molex and Ball Horticultural. And then of course, Greg will be moderating this event. So we hope you will all join us for this event. This is the first in a series of, after this will be our kickoff, then we're going to have Zoom and Learns the following 3 Thursdays in April on various topics. So we're pretty excited about this. We actually have, I'm guessing, about 60 people already registered, and we've sent this out one time so far. A lot of businesses. Next slide, please. And back to Greg.
So this is, yesterday was kind of a linchpin day in regional economic cooperation. The county leaders from 7 counties, Cook, DuPage, Will, Kane, Kendall, McHenry, and Lake, along with the city of Chicago, met at CMAP's offices, Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, on how we can do more regional economic cooperation. CMAP, for those of you who don't know, the federally appointed regional planning organization for the city of Chicago, has said that the Chicago region has been punching below its weight, their words, not mine, punching below its weight for about 10 years in terms of economic recovery since the Great Recession. Other big areas have grown faster. About 5 years ago, myself, a gentleman by the name of Kevin Considine, who's my counterpart up in Lake County, and John Grueling, who many of you may know, he's my counterpart, recently retired counterpart down in Will County, said, it's just ridiculous that Will is competing against DuPage and DuPage is competing against Will. And most importantly, the most ridiculous thing is that Chicago is competing against all of us and we're competing against Chicago. Two cases in point. So we got together and we said, what can we do to collaborate regionally? What can we do to move the needle for Northeastern Illinois? Come up with a brand, come up with an identity, come up with a marketing strategy, foreign direct investment, international trade shows. You may have seen in the news recently, Lion Electric, which is a big battery maker that's going to make batteries for Rivian, which is the electric truck company down in Bloomington. Lion Electric opened a manufacturing plant for their batteries in Joliet.
Correct.
John Grueling said Lion Electric's plant is being built, designed, and implemented by a company called Mercure Engineering. So Mercure Engineering is from Canada, big engineering firm, and they're going to open offices in the US solely for the purposes of building this new electric battery plant. Mercure Engineering is now locating in DuPage County because Grueling and I got together and said, okay, you get the battery plant, but you don't have the office space for these guys. We have the office space. Another example, there's a company in Columbus, Ohio that I'm not at liberty to say the name at this point. You can do a little research. They make vintage clothing, those cool t-shirts we all used to wear when we were younger. It's like Pepsi on them, or I'm with Stupid and all of that kind of stuff with the arrow. They're located in Columbus, Ohio. They are moving their North American headquarters to downtown Chicago, but they need distribution and warehousing. So Kyle Schultz, who's my counterpart at World Business Chicago, called me up and said, we don't have warehousing for them. Do you have warehousing for them? So now they're opening 50,000 square feet of distribution and warehousing in Downers Grove. So we all got together in a room and said, okay, we're kind of doing this already, but we need to codify this. We need to make this more meaningful. So yesterday, Mayor Light, and the outlier has always been the city of Chicago, because Chicago's always said, well, you know, we'll give you our scraps, and if they're not interested in Chicago, we'll have a lottery and we'll decide which one of you gets them. Yesterday, Mayor Lightfoot and County Board President Preckwinkle attended this meeting and gave their commitment to a regional collaborative of the 7 collar counties plus the city of Chicago on marketing, branding, identity, and outreach. This ties into, you may remember way back when I came to you guys and said, can you allocate some ARPA money for a regional collaborative focused on this? You all said yes. Thank you for saying yes. And I applaud the entrepreneurial spirit of this county board. Several of the other county boards said, well, we'd like to analyze this to death before we make the commitment. So yesterday, a giant step was taken when the city of Chicago and Cook County gave their commitment to this initiative. I anticipate Lake and McHenry and the rest will follow, and then we will come back to you once again. This is all ARPA eligible. This is not another Choose DuPage for the entire region. This is not, wait, Greg, are you trying to create an organization that's going to eliminate your organization? This is not another entity. This is an initiative. This is a thing that's designed to promote the entire region as opposed to DuPage. You know, as you all know, we have 2 national labs in DuPage County. What does that mean to a business that's in the development space and wants to avail themselves? And when Lake County or somebody is pitching to somebody, do they even have materials that talk about our 2 national labs? They don't. I can answer the question for you. They don't. And it's long overdue. So again, yesterday, I didn't even have time to add it to this presentation, but hopefully, hopefully and sadly, yesterday, the first slide was, and it was led by Brookings. The first slide was decision meeting number 1. And we were supposed to make 3 decisions. We made 1. So I consider that major progress when you put 7 counties in a city together. We made 1 decision. There's another meeting in June, and then it will go in front of the Council of County Board Chairs at the CMAP's Q2 meeting for formal adoption, a budget, a strategy, and then I will bring it back to you to see if you all are still interested. So it was really exciting, and it was, I think it's a great. You all know, please, I will always protect DuPage County's economic development interests. But as I said yesterday at the meeting, when a business in Germany or a business in China or a business in Vietnam or Africa or Canada is looking at a North American Midwest relocation, with all due respect to every one of the great 30+ towns that comprise DuPage County, the first thing they think is Chicago. They don't call it Wheaton land. They don't call it, they don't call it DuPageville. They call it Chicagoland. We need to be a part of that Chicagoland economic development experience. And I think that's our last slide. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Initial budgetary number, or just the what?
So the initial thought, Pete Amardiciani, was that it would be population based, and every county and the city would contribute a dollar amount based on the population. And because it was, I don't want to break my arm, patting myself on the back, but because it was me kicking and screaming to do this, they said, well, DuPage County has about 1 million people. What's DuPage County in for? And I said, well, I went in front of the county board and asked for $500,000 of ARPA money. And the key to that is we're really reluctant to ask the business community to fund this initially. The business community already funds Choose DuPage. They already fund the Lake County partners. So what we want to do is use ARPA money to fund it initially, get a bunch of wins, show how it's working, then go back to the business community and say, look what this is doing for the region. Now can we count on your investment? So the thought was using DuPage as a benchmark, $500,000 from DuPage, and then everybody would roll off of DuPage based on the population of their county.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair. Greg, what is the capacity for manufacturing in our county right now?
It's a great question. If you know any manufacturers, tell them to call us now. Because
Yeah, because it's running out.
former member Healy called me. He's got a client who needs 300,000 square feet of warehousing space, and he's looking at DuPage County. We sent him 3 buildings
Yeah. And
that
maybe
were
one would work.
potentials, and maybe one will work. So that's a great question. The challenge, and especially on the eastern side of DuPage County, here's what's happening. The eastern side of DuPage County is becoming cost prohibitive for manufacturers because land purchases for warehousing right now and distribution transportation is about $100 a square foot. $100 a square foot to buy a building. Lease prices on the east side of DuPage County. So if you don't want to purchase, and I promise you, if you guys owned a distribution facility and you wanted to buy a building at $100 a square foot, your board wouldn't let you do it. It's just cost prohibitive. Lease prices on the east side of DuPage County are approaching $10 a square foot. On the west side of DuPage County, Aurora, West Naperville, West Chicago are still around $5 to $6 a square foot. The business park in West Chicago, what we used to call the DuPage County Technology Park, is nearly full. So we're running out of space. And I would encourage you to talk to your mayors to think about their, we have a business, I don't mind saying the name of the business, Weagle Tool in Elmhurst, who would love to stay in Elmhurst. The building they're in right now doesn't fit their business needs as their company evolves. There's space available in Elmhurst. If they pay what the going price is for that space, their profits go this way. So now they're looking in Carpentersville and they're looking in Elgin, and we don't want to let that happen. So we have to figure out ways to kind of maintain that value proposition. Oh yeah, Lisa wanted me to remind you, one of the things we talked about here, this is really important, and I would really encourage you to talk to your mayors about this one. We have a communities meeting on March 29th at Northern Illinois University's offices out in Naperville, and the topic is areas of opportunity. I don't need, you guys are every bit as economic development gifted as anybody in Choose DuPage's to know that shopping malls can only support a certain number of laser tag facilities and jumpy gyms, right? You also know, did you all see that the clubhouse at Oak Brook Mall is now CD Peacock's restaurant? CD Peacock is going to have a restaurant associated. So you're going to go in with your significant others and you're going to buy a bunch of jewelry and you're going to have a nice dinner and listen to music. It's all becoming experiential and it's all becoming laser tags and jumpy gyms. Then you look at other communities, and it's great, and his dear friend, Franco Colo DiPietro, has Stratford Square Mall. Can anybody name a store that's left at Stratford Square Mall?
They have arcades.
So the business community, the development community came to us and said, you know, DuPage and other counties like DuPage need to start looking at these malls as areas of opportunity and what you're going to do with them. Because if you don't, you're going to wind up with Amazon warehouses. So if you want Amazon warehouses, that's fine. If you don't want Amazon warehouses, we need to start coming up with a strategy on what we're going to do with these areas of opportunities. Bensonville, White Pines Golf Course, you know, all of the big chunks of land that might be left for this development, what's it zoned? What's the barriers to entry? What's the cost associated with it? We have the experts on our board. They're going to share with us their ideas at the quarterly communities meeting.
So that, about 3 more questions on that score. First of all, are other of the malls kind of following the Fox Valley Mall model? Because they're putting all kinds of stuff in the perimeter of the mall over there, which I think is a great idea. Secondly, do you need some help with zoning to smooth some of that?
Thank you for getting me in trouble with every municipality who says, I thought you were a county economic development corporation. Stop worrying about our zoning, worry about how the county can. I mean, to be blunt, yes, you know, these local elected officials, and as it is their right, they're the elected officials. They do a master plan, they do a comprehensive plan, and that comp plan says, you did one in Elmhurst. That comp plan says this area is zoned office, or this area is zoned manufacturing. Sadly, the economy changes so quickly that if you don't change that zoning and the development, and I'm sure you've heard this when you were mayor of Elmhurst, the development community said, well, some municipalities say, well, just bring them through our plan commission or bring them through our zoning board of appeals. See ya. We're gone. Too much money, too much time. If you're not willing to be entrepreneurial, we're not willing to look at your county. So yes, is the short answer to that question. Any other questions? Thank
All right,
you.
wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. I think what's so amazing about that is that we've got to start thinking about the flexibility here in the county and then how we partner with our community partners. So it might be some out of the box thinking to your point as to what we need to do, but it sounds like that's the first step, is to bring everyone together. And then I also like about the CMAP coalition is it's not a scarcity mindset anymore, that you guys are really linking arms and saying, we don't have to worry about really fighting each other. There's enough to go around. Let's find ways to make it happen.
The key to that is we have to act. My closing comments yesterday was, we better get this done now, because right now you have Lori Lightfoot and Tony Preckwinkle saying, yeah, we're in on this.
Okay.
There's elections around the corner.
Yeah,
And
right.
Chicago goes as the mayor goes. Rob Emanuel, who I consider a dear friend, who used to look me in the face and say, sorry, I'm going after your business. If you don't like it, come after mine.
Wow. Wow.
So it kind of comes and goes with the mayor.
Okay. That's good information. So thank you. All right. Anyone have any questions about anything?
The 29th, it's at the Naperville campus, you said?
Yeah, Northern Illinois University,
What's that?
11:30 to 1. So please come.
Sounds good.
All right, wonderful. So then we can move on to any old business. And any new business. Two, okay.
I'm so glad that you brought up the labs today. Argonne in District 3. I've been out there numerous times and it is really a fascinating place. If anybody would like to do a tour, like a little, you know, it's super interesting. Or maybe Chair Chavez, you'd like to have somebody in from Argonne Labs. They've got a great governmental group, but just to educate us more, because that really is what they're focusing on, is battery storage, and it's going to be such a big thing. It already is. You talked about
5 times more capacity, 5 times smaller in 5 years.
Yeah, and the supercomputing and everything. It is, I think, you know, it's something we should all be, you know, have our eye on. So,
Thank you for that. Yeah.
May I?
Please.
There's only 2 counties in the United States of America that are home to 2 national laboratories, and DuPage is one of them. That is such an enormous economic development advantage for our county. And you're right, we'd be happy to talk with Norm Peterson or the lab's director and have them give a presentation of this. They probably should give a presentation to the full board, because the work that they're doing out there, and everybody thinks it's kind of this, you know, geeky science kind of stuff. If you wanted to start your own battery company, Argonne will house you. Argonne will do the R&D for you and help you take your idea from concept to commercialization. And they're just a tremendous community partner.
That's amazing. Thank you for bringing that up. And I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I'd be happy to coordinate, and we can coordinate, find a way to make it happen. So thank you.
I don't know what they do at Fermi.
For DCIani.
Yeah, I would like, COVID seems to be over with. All the professionals are saying that their country is about 90% either vaccinated or we're at about 90% professional being vaccinated or immunity for natural, so which is huge. China's at 30% for seniors, so let's put it in perspective. So, and that's why they're seeing what they're seeing right now. But with that said, I was at the Special Olympics basketball state tournament. New York took fourth in the state Friday, which was awesome.
Congratulations.
But to see all these kids who are coming out of school, graduating the cycle, to see them without jobs or opportunities, naturally, I want to do something about it. So Lisa Spatch has been great with prior to COVID doing job fairs for people with disabilities and connecting friendly employers. I'd like to see if we could do something before the end of the school year, which would be sometime before June, to try to activate some of these employers who are looking for people. There's a huge employment shortage, and we've got a lot of graduating people that can use work. So if we can try to get that going, Lisa, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I was gonna say before the end of the school year, we could.
You want to talk about what you're doing
Right
in
now,
terms of
yeah.
PR?
Yeah, but what we are, I was going to mention that we have like a big push going right now with our paid youth internships, connecting in with all the schools so that they know all the things that we've developed in the community. And then we regularly are out at the different high schools to let them know about all graduating seniors really, but then we're pretty closely tied in with all the transition programs to try to get people into all these vacant positions that we have out there. So we're working it from that angle. As far as like a large scale hiring event, we can look at doing that. I would have to figure out what the timing would look like for the school. We tried to do something recently for Women's Month actually with the schools, and we just couldn't get the timing figured out because of their scheduling issues. But we could look at it, maybe something we could host here. I don't know.
Help you work on it.
Auditorium and elections. So.
Possibly.
Mhm.
It's a tight turnaround time, but we can look at doing.
Okay.
And your thought is a disability specific, like we did
Yeah,
the one time?
exactly.
Okay.
We can even get one of the, like a high school like York, who's got a huge field house, to possibly do it if we're having a conflict here with our elections,
Yeah,
So just food for thought, because we do have a lot of facilities within the county,
yeah. And we have a lot of employers
right?
that everybody's looking to hire, so
Exactly. So that's,
let's talk.
yeah.
Because Ron actually brought it up recently too,
Uh-huh.
about that, but we were thinking more like October, November, but
Then we missed the opportunity. 'cause
yes,
they're
to
all-
your point for graduating,
Mhm.
graduating seniors, yeah.
Yeah, or even graduating transition, because the 22 mark, you got folks that are graduating, and then folks that are transitioning out.
Yeah.
You got a double hit.
Let's talk, we can
Okay,
figure something
cool.
out. And we do have a press release going out today that you guys will all be seeing, I'm sure, about our youth internship program.
Mhm.
Those, of course, those youth have to be eligible for the program. But we have a lot of great opportunities throughout the county right now for different career path kind of launching points for young adults.
I've got a 2 online at 88, 205, so whatever we need to do, I'm sure we can get one of those districts.
Okay,
And they have a huge population. It's
Yeah.
accommodated as well,
that would be great. We would be able to get the employers.
Yeah.
So,
Sure,
yeah, thanks. That's
yeah,
great.
no problem, sounds good.
Wonderful. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Member
Mhm.
Deacon. All right, anything else? All right, well then, without objection, we are adjourned.